Woo, hello everybody. So, it's Monday, and usually we don't do these little drives on Monday. And we're exiting the Starbucks, and usually I don't get a Starbucks, but I decided to have a treat, and I got myself an iced coffee, the biggest one they make, and I'm going to enjoy that. So, my whole schedule's a little off. It was off last week. It is off this week. Last week I recorded a couple of videos. I recorded one and I decided it was not cheerful. It was wallowing. So that one had to go. And then I did another one and it was much more cheerful. And I don't know what the hell was the problem, but it wouldn't upload. It just sort of stayed for more than 24 hours. I think it was like 2 days I tried to upload it. And instead we skipped right over to the bonus video where I had my very first guest on the vlog. She happens to be my very dear friend, and we've known next year we've known each other 20 years, which is crazy. But it was Deborah Dean Davis, and I met her. I had been working at USC for a million years and not doing what I want to do. And one day I looked at my 401k and realized that after 10 years I had saved up enough to retire for 1 year. So at that rate, I would have to work there for 40 years to retire for 4 years. I thought, forget it. So I quit and I cashed out my 401k. Oh my God, it was such a scary decision. Cashed out my 401k. This was 2006. And somehow I apparently was much more frugal than I thought. I managed to make that last a year and a half. And I was feeling pretty low when the money was gone, and I had to get another day job. All of this was super disappointing. And then the crash happened in 2008. And all of my friends back at USC, their 401ks were wiped out. One person managed to hang on to like $2,500, but other than that, everybody's 401k was gone. And suddenly, I felt so relieved because I would have had nothing. I would have lost everything. So I got the most out of that money as I was ever going to get. And it was just by flying by my seat of my pants and just guessing. And it turned out to be a good guess. And then I got a job as an office manager. They said, do you know QuickBooks? I said, no, but I can learn. And from there, I evolved to being a freelance bookkeeper. So it's funny how all these things kind of line up. But when I cashed out my 401k, the very first thing I did was I paid for a UCLA extension course called The Business of Being a Screenwriter. And it was over 2 weekends, and the teacher was Deborah Dean Davis. And we became fast friends, and we've been hanging around ever since. Deborah Dean Davis wrote It Takes Two, so a lot of you have seen that. She wrote Fantasy Island. I think she wrote A Love Boat. She wrote Star Trek: The Next Generation. It was the first one where Picard got to get a girl. She wrote, what else did she write? Oh, Knight Rider. She wrote a number of Knight Riders. She wrote The Fall Guy. That guy needs to just get a hold of himself. So a lot of stuff. So one day, my family, we all got together. It might have been at Thanksgiving. We all got together and we all hung out. And then later, my brother said, God, she felt so familiar. And I said, well, it's because as kids, we grew up watching her shows. So her voice was already in our ears. Yes, she would be familiar. We already knew her. So she's a lot of fun. If you haven't seen that one, we're just goofing around. And I didn't know if she would like being on camera. I didn't know if she would be good at being on camera. But there we have it. I think she was fun, and I think she was good, and nothing earth-shattering, but it was fun to have a guest, and I hope you enjoyed it. So I'm in a huge crunch. I have to get stuff done as quickly as possible and get home before the cleaners come, because I need the cleaners to help me prep the kitchen, because we have a bug problem. The joy of renting. We have a bug problem, and the exterminators are coming on Thursday. And I've cleared out a lot of stuff, but everything has to be wiped down before they come in and put in the poison. So I'm feeling very rushed, very frantic about that. I know it'll be okay. I'm just, I'll just get done what I can get done and then hustle on home, and fingers crossed that all goes quickly and smoothly. That's what my big plan is. Then I think I've told you guys I have a friend, and we do check-ins with each other on our writing, and we both have really slacked off. Very, very bad slackaroonies. But they reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to do a check-in? And I was like, funny enough, I have 5 pages. I said, let me see if I can get you more than just 5 pages. And I didn't do the pages this weekend. So, 6 o'clock in the morning, I knocked out 5 more pages and sent my pages to my friend, who I will talk to via Zoom later today. It was fun to this story is so easy for me right now. I'm sure it'll get hard because it's a very hard subject, and it's a period piece. Ugh, I can't believe I'm doing a period piece, but I'm doing a period piece, and yeah, we will see how this goes, but it's fun just to be, pages, writing actual screenplay pages, and not just, pages and pages of thoughts and ideas. So this is good. And then the video that would not upload, oh, stoplight. Thank you, stoplight. I can enjoy some of my train to iced coffee. Oh, it's so rotten. I taught my friend's son to do that after he has a drink. Oh, it's a habit we're going to have to break soon. Anyway, so the video that would not upload was from, I went to lunch with a friend, my friend who had a TV show that potentially was in the works to she asked me if I would be a writer on her TV show. I was so excited. And then the network chickened out because they're chickens. And then, once a show goes into turnaround, it's really hard to pump life back into it. But she's still trying to get it made. It's a good show. It's a good show, and the moment is right. And it will be, you will enjoy the show. I decided. I have said what I said. So we met up for lunch. I suggested, the two of us have a strong tendency to choose Asian restaurants. Nothing wrong with that. But I thought we kind of got to break ourselves out of a rut. And in LA, in Hollywood, is a restaurant called the Griddle Cafe. And they make the most outrageous pancakes. And then on the other extreme, they make super healthy food. So you can get your egg white scramble, your bodybuilder breakfast, or you could just ignore everything and get the butterscotch pancakes, the Oreo espresso pancakes. Some of their pancakes are so rich and so sugary, you only get one pancake. Most of the pancakes, it's a stack of 3, and they fill the entire plate. So they're big pancakes. And I get there, and there's my friend. She's having her coffee, and she's trying to decide between the French toast and one of the fancy pancakes. And so she's asking the waitress, and I tell the waitress she's a virgin. And the waitress said, "Oh, the French toast is delicious, but if this is your first time here, you need the wow factor." So she got the pancakes. I had a salad. I've actually never been there for lunch before. I will thumbs up the lunch. They're only open until like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. If you're gonna go, especially on the weekends, you're gonna wait. You're gonna wait unless you get there at the crack of dawn. And it's a lot of fun, and it's survived the pandemic, which was great. And for a minute there, they did their day operation up at Yamato, which is Yamato, is that the right name? It's this very fancy Japanese restaurant up in the Hollywood Hills that I have only ever been there to get griddle pancakes with my niece, because she loves the griddle pancakes. She was determined that it wasn't closed, so I Googled it, and it turned out that they were temporarily relocated. So that worked out, and it turned out to be a very good lunch. And she told me she has 2 other shows that she's got in development. So fingers crossed, you guys. I'm feeling very good. I feel like a writer again. I feel like I've been hibernating, and that I'm coming back to life. So all of that was very encouraging. And I have a lot of bookkeeping I got to catch up on. Here's the thing, my heart is broken for the bookkeeping. I just don't want to do it anymore. And it's depressing. It depresses me to even think about it. And then I wind up procrastinating, and then I wind up under stress and anxiety because I'm not getting anything done. And I feel responsible. That's right, just pull out and just park. It's called a gas pedal, ma'am. Anyway, That's my road rage. So I have great clients. You know, I really like the people I work with. You know, the other day I had to call the payroll company and figure something out. And then I figured it out. And when that happened, the call was over, and I did something kind of goofy, but she said, "Is there anything else I can help you with?" And I said, "Yes. Do you have any recommendations what I should watch next on Netflix?" Who wants to have that conversation? I don't know, but it was the nicest. She had no recommendations for me. None. But she was like, she connected to the question. You know, it's something that, what should we watch next? I mean, this is all we do is consume video games and television shows and what have you. But it was a very humanizing moment, and that was the big highlight. You know, that this was a moment of connection, and it wasn't weird, it wasn't rude, it was just like, oh God, yeah, what is there to watch? And we wrapped things up very quickly, but it was nice. And you know, this goes back to I've been very open about my loneliness project, and this was a telephonic momentary remedy. That here's two people at different places in the country. I'm not sure where she is. A lot of their people are in the Midwest. And it was just nice, a nice real moment. So yeah, if you're looking for a way to connect with people, that seems to be a good one. I would recommend Untamed. It was surprising. It's not cheerful, but I was constantly surprised. You know, every couple episodes, you know, just as I thought I had it figured out. The one that was not surprising, and I didn't enjoy, but I watched the whole thing because maybe they would surprise me, was the Hunting Wives. And basically every time something weird happens, the ladies lift up their shirts and lick each other's boobs. So if you're looking for boob licking content, then that might be the show for you. But it's without the boobs, is it worth it? No. You know, I don't think so. I gotta say thumbs down on that one. The mystery is stupid. And they left it open-ended, so there's more mystery. Oh, hell no. There's no season 2 for me. Not happening. Nope. I am loving The Gilded Age. And the episodes are getting more brutal. And then next week is the season 3 finale. Everything, you know, last week was a kick in the gut. This week was a kick in the gut. We'll see what happens, you know, but they've gotten to the point where they're starting to kill people off. So that's that's an unexpected turn. I didn't see that one coming. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. And then I learned from a fan thing. So there's a character, Felicia Rashad's character plays, she's a woman who has very strong colorism issues, and she's very hoity and toity. And she brags about one of her relatives being the first black man to graduate from Harvard. Is it her son? One of her sons? So that guy, Greener, has some interesting descendants. Very interesting descendants. And one of whom is alive now, a great-grandson. And boy, you know, there's some twisted nonsense going on there. Yes, it's very educational. So basically, you go from a woman who is promoting colorism, and then her descendants down the road in the future, in 2025, are neo-Nazis. She has a neo-Nazi descendant. Yeah, who fled the country after his January 6th stuff. Yeah, special. So yeah, there's a lot going on there. Oh God, I just want to get these checks done real quick. I'm so stressed out. The bug situation's really kind of gross. I have dreams of living in a house that is my own, where the dumpster is not on the other side of the wall from the kitchen. I mean, I like my apartment. I like my neighbors. I like the location. There's a lot going for it. But shared spaces can get sloppy. And we had a whole weird dumpster thing back in May. The smell was so bad that it set off carbon monoxide alarms in the apartment above. And yeah, I think it was the neighbor next door. They have a tendency to use our trash cans, and they put something that was super unpleasant in there. It may have been a dead animal. Who knows? Yeah, who knows? They're not the best pet owners I've ever encountered. And somebody called animal control because their dog would not stop barking. They had a dachshund. They are very territorial animals, and this dachshund would bark for 8, 10, 12 hours straight. It was just awful. So one of the guys got on the phone with animal control and said, no, I'll stay on the phone with you till you get a animal control officer over there. And all of a sudden, the guy didn't have it. I think he was forced to. He says he got rid of the dog after that. I think he was forced to surrender the dog. That's my take on the situation. It's just a guess. I don't know for sure, but you know, different. And then the neighbor runs into me and says, "Well, somebody complained about his barking. That's what dogs do. Dogs bark." And he had another dog sitting by him. I go, that dog's not barking. Like, that was abnormal, what was going on there. Yeah. I'm not a fan of that neighbor. You know, and he's nice to your face and stabs you in the back. Not a nice guy. Oh, I've got to turn the camera off now, and I just landed on a bummer note. Okay, well, anyway, that's all the news and gossip that's in my life right now. And let's see if this guy's gonna ride my behind. I'm sure he is. Okay. because the gardeners moved the, so there, I'm in. Yeah. That's it. I'm where I need to be. Wish me luck that I get it all knocked out. Lickety split. Yeah. And with a little luck, this one will upload. Anyway, thanks you guys. If you're still following at this point, you're a trooper. You're the best. I hope you're having a good day, whatever you're doing. And yeah. I'll talk to you later.